Very good evening to you and welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. It is Monday. Monday evening, and we're here to discuss all of the West Ham stories that are knocking about at the moment. We're coming up on the show. We're going to discuss the Soucek contract talks. Has he signed it? Has he not? Our thoughts on that, and also a little bit about our international hammers, the players that have gone off on international duty, what they've done, and there's an interesting development on that's happened in the last half an hour that has gone around Twitter, including Saeed Benrahma being held by his shirt by the Algerian manager, which is certainly an interesting story. We'll get onto that a little bit later. Mike hasn't seen that yet, so
no, I've definitely not seen that, mate.
Yeah, Mike, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. You?
Good, yeah, I am very, very good. Let's see, we've got in the chat before we get started. A very good evening to Terry Newsham. How are you, sir? Mark, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Oh, love the adverts. We'll come on to that a little bit later on, but yes, the adverts are back. Sorry about that. John, thank you very much indeed for joining us as well. Right, we're going to start with Thomas Soucek, and it's a bit about it running on the bottom of your screen. So various reports are suggesting Thomas Soucek has signed a new 4-year deal with West Ham, increasing his stay in East London until at least 2027. Some journalists, however, are claiming this was agreed all the way back in August, but no official confirmation and announcement was put out on social media. Now, this has sort of caused a little bit of what's going on here, because his contract's up next summer. Next summer, he is a free agent, I believe, unless, of course, we tie him down to a contract, which it looks like we've done. See, last week we announced a new big massive contract for Jarrod Bowen, and reports are suggesting that we've done the same for Soucek, but we just haven't announced it, which is a bit strange, Mike. This just isn't quite adding up.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange, but do you know what? I think with, after Rice is gone and his up-term in form and everything, you know what I mean? It's not a shock, but like I say, it's a bit strange the way they've gone about things, really.
Yeah. Do you firstly think he deserves a new contract, 4 years, signing down to 2027? I don't know how old that would make him then, but do you think he deserves that?
Yeah, I think, I know, okay, last year, I mean, there was a few games and we were all calling, come on, he's got to be dropped, blah, blah, blah. But the way he started this season, it was like the season before, basically. He's got that chance to creep forward a bit more. And he is a goal scorer. I think he proved it last night. He scored the winner for his country. The guy knows, he knows when to arrive and he knows how to hit the back of the net, given the proper opportunities, and he's beginning to get them again. So, yeah, I see the sense in it.
So he's currently 28 years old. So his contract does run out next June in 2024. So it's decent because I believe unless he has signed his contract in January, he can start talking to clubs and things could be agreed. So hopefully that is all resolved. At the end of his contract, that would then make him, in 4 or 5 years' time, around 32 years of age. Do you think it's wise we haven't gone 6 or 7 years like we have done with Bowen and got him down to his 34 or 35, and until he's 30, which is a modest age where we could probably have discussions again in a couple of years after this to see whether it's a viable option, whether he's still here or not a viable option to go forward and increase that for another year or two. So I think it's probably smart.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about, if he goes as a free agent, that would be a travesty for us, really, because we've sort of made him into a top quality midfielder because there was big teams looking at him. So, okay, there was times last year we were all calling for him to be dropped and whatever, but yeah, he had a little bit of a poor spell. But the guy overall, if you take him what he's done and you take that little spell out, he's been a top player for us. There's a lot of teams that would take him, Jake. I'm sure they would. They'd be happy to take him. What I like about him as well is, okay, you're talking about him getting on a bit, he'd be getting on a bit. He's never had any pace, so he can't lose that. He is, he is loyal, and you know what I mean. He just seems to be a good guy around the place. Yeah. I think I can imagine him being a top guy in the changing rooms.
Yeah, I agree. I think what we've got here is Thomas Soucek is I think disjointed would be the word to describe his West Ham career. It started off brilliantly. I mean, some people could link this to marriage if you like. It started off really well. Everything was going well. Then it took a very swift dip, and then things are starting to go back on the up again. Yeah. I think it's massively been dictated by number 41, in my opinion. I think because of what he wanted to do. That's why last year, for me, that was the sole reason that his form took a huge drop. And he was crap last year. Everybody could admit that. And only, probably the only football person on the planet that was continuing to think, yeah, it's a good idea to start Thomas Soucek every week, was the man in charge, David Moyes. Because he was really poor. But the season before that, he was excellent. And this season so far, he has been excellent. So long may that continue. I think, as I said, Mike, it was massively down to Rice wanted to go forward, which meant Soucek had to stay back. And obviously he wasn't scoring the goals, and he was lost. He was lost in that midfield area. Now he's going forward again. He's scoring goals. He scored more goals so far this season than he did in last season put together, and we're only in October, for goodness sake, and we've had 2 international breaks. So overall, I think we've got him back to where we wanted to be. It's the renaissance that we needed. Otherwise, we could have said goodbye to him. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Jake. I mean, the few games that Rice didn't play. I mean, even if you go back to those games, he's had good games in every single one of those games that Rice didn't play. So, do you know what I mean?
I think it was that game up at Liverpool last year where Rice was ill or something. Soucek came in along with Lanzini and played very well. There was a game against Watford away. I think this was towards the back end of the first season or last. Was it? No, it wasn't last season. I don't know. Against Watford, where I can just remember going out to Nicky afterwards and going, Soucek was better without Rice there, and I couldn't quite believe I was saying it. Soucek was a different player without Rice there, and our midfield looks more balanced. And there was times this season that you stood in the stand, Mike, and I've stood in the stands, and I've looked and I've watched Thomas Soucek just dawdle his way around with no real purpose, and we all called it the meaningless jog round. He did all the miles, don't get me wrong. He was jogging round doing nothing, but now there seems to be a purpose, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in the Chelsea game, he played a couple of poor passes in that game, but other than that, I mean, that was probably the poorest game he's had. But other than that, he was brilliant in that game, and you could see bits of the old Soucek coming back. And I think he's improved game on game since then.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. For sure. I think he's just got that bit of confidence back, and I think it helps with the goals as well, because the way he's playing now with that role, and the goals have helped, and I think the players around him have helped as well. And overall, he seems happy. He's always happy. I mean, he scored. I think he's captain of the Czech Republic, if I'm not wrong, and he scored a penalty on the 70th minute last, a couple of nights ago now, to get the Czech Republic the win, which of course, that's good for him as well. He's keeping scoring goals. We're going to come on to the international players in a second, but overall, Mike, to round this section off, I think it's a positive move, which we probably wouldn't have been saying this time last season or even about 6 months ago.
No doubt about that, Jake. I mean, 6 months ago, we would have said, what the hell are we doing? But I can just see the sense in it. I really can now.
For sure. Let's take some of your comments and see who has joined us. Robert, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Lone Star Londoner as well. Thank you very much indeed. Anyone going to Villa Sunday? Well, we'll be cruising through Cherbourg. Which is lovely, but there'll be some. I'll tell you what, it's gonna be a bit chilly on Villa Park on Sunday. I reckon the puffer coats might have to make an appearance for the first time this season for everyone going up there. Terry's going, so Terry's on match day vlog duty Sunday, aren't you, Ter? Very good. You can expect that. You can expect that. Very funny. See, there's things like this. Soucek 19 goals and 116 appearances. I don't think that's his role. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. It hasn't been his role, as we talked about, Mike. The first year and this year, they've been similar roles. But last year, his role wasn't to score goals. His role was to sweep things up around the back. So, I mean, if we come back to that stat at the end of this season, I think it'll be drastically different.
Yeah, the percentages will change. They're bound to. like I say, Jay, he just wandered around in the middle of the park and didn't really know what he's meant to be doing. He just didn't have his normal role, and it just didn't suit him.
No, it didn't. It didn't. And, you could tell he was a player that was massively being sort of contained and bottled up. And it was quite hard to watch because Moyes kept consistently playing him week in, week out, hoping that something was drastically going to change. And we could all see it wasn't going to change. But now it's good to see that we've got that old Soucek back, that smile when he looks like he looks like a player, a man on a mission as well. Terry, what has your parking space gone for Villa? Has it disappeared? Oh, what a shame. What a shame. Oh, well. That's for you to sort out. See, that would never happen with me in charge, would it? No parking spaces. See, Mike, has a parking space ever disappeared when I've been in charge? Of course it hasn't. Of course it hasn't. We need to get a bit more order going around the place. Get things sorted. Get things sorted. Sean says, not sure. Hope you well, mate. He says, not sure Soucek gets a move to a bigger/better club. To be honest, it's a great deal for the player. Yeah, look, he's not going to go and join a big six club, but I think there's certainly the other 14 clubs in this league. A fair few of them, as you mentioned, Mike, would take Soucek on.
They would. Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to go to a top 4 club. I'm not saying that at all, but there would be a lot of clubs that would take him on.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. And if you've got a side like West Ham, or a side that are going to be massively, what's the word, set piece dependent, maybe, or a team that aren't going to score many goals, Everton, Luton, one of those sides. I mean, I know that's, I don't know if you call it a drop down, I would, but some people might not. But I think he could be beneficial to one of those sides, but it's good that we've got him. Good that we've got him joined down now, which is all good. Let's take some of your comments. John says, "I'm enjoying keeping things in house. Sully wouldn't let everyone know everything. We would moan, but everyone else nicking the players. But now it's coming out just before it's officially stamped." Yeah, Moyes wanted to try and shut all the ITKs down a couple of years ago. It didn't really work, to be honest with you. A couple of signings we didn't have a clue about when they turned up a couple of years ago, but that seems to have been shut down, and we know everything's going to happen 2 weeks before it happens currently. But yeah, I think it's just a bit strange that Bowen was announced and Soucek hasn't. Is that a bit of a kick in the teeth for Soucek that he hasn't been announced, or I don't know?
Not really. I've got to say, Sullivan, I was one of his biggest knockers. I mean, he just couldn't keep his trap shut. He always opened his trap at the wrong time, and but he has improved on that 100%. I mean, he couldn't get any worse. It'd be impossible. But he has improved on it. So, yeah, I'm not going to knock him for it. I don't think it's a terrible thing. I think, keeping it in-house and keeping it under your hat a little bit. Yeah, not a problem for me.
Yeah, for sure. I've got a couple of exciting things to talk about, and I'm going to lead on in good fashion because 2 people have already been good enough to join our membership program. Again, we talked about it a little bit the other night, but I'm delighted to say that our monetization has been redeemed on YouTube, so we are back, which is good, which is good news for the channel. So thanks for everyone's support over the last few months through it, and yeah, hopefully we're good and back to business now. And I'd like to say a huge thank you firstly to Sharky, who has rejoined the membership, and Mark as well. That's greatly appreciated, guys. Thank you very much indeed for your support. We have talked about other other methods of how you can support us, so if you would like to support us and a YouTube membership isn't for you, my email is in the description down below, or contact us on Facebook or Twitter to discuss other options if you'd like that. If a YouTube membership isn't for you, just get in contact with us and we'll share some other stuff with you. But Sharky and Mark, thank you very much indeed for your support. Apparently Jake's buying the beers on the cruise now. Mike, you can confirm that is not happening, can't you?
Definitely.
Mike, anything to add?
No, that's fine, mate. Yeah, that's right. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
All good. Oh, it's all going off now. It's all going off. Sharky's gifted a membership to somebody. I don't know who to. But to Dad. See, there we go. See, Dad's too tight to do it himself, and Sharky's giving it to for him. Sharky, Thank you very much indeed. I'm sure Dad is very. I'm sure Dad won't even know how to use them emojis. It's not emojis, really, is it? Mike, do you want to see some of our new emojis on the channel that are for the members?
Oh, go on. Let me have a look.
I've designed some right, and I'm quite proud of them. I am now going to have to load them up. So do bear with me. But this is our little interlude. This is the first one. You can put this if you remember. Look at that. I was quite proud of that.
Oh yeah.
Proud of that. Just sold my car. I've got a cheeky Bowen's on Fire one coming up as well. There we go. Bowen's on Fire. If you just feel like you ever want to mention that as a channel member, he's done it again in reference to the set pieces. James Ward-Prowse with another. If he puts in another assist in the next game, just bring that one out. Why not? Why not?
Well done.
And there we go. So thank you very much, everybody, for their support in that front. Right. Next up, we're going to talk about the international hammers. Now, we've had quite a long international break, and because of the stature of our squad now, we have quite a few players that go out on international duty. So just a quick roundup of what's happened. Naif Gerd has played a couple of games for Morocco. Callum Marshall has made his home debut for Northern Ireland. They beat San Marino 3-0 last Saturday. So Naif Gerd has also been in action. What I'm going to bring up on the screen, which was the main highlight, which I wanted to discuss. If I change the screen, no, not that one. Press the wrong button. I'm an absolute amateur at this. There we go. Two West Ham United players went head-to-head in international action on Saturday night as Edson Alvarez's Mexico, that should say, met Mohamed Kudus's Ghana in a friendly. It was Alvarez who was able to claim the bragging rights as Mexico won 2-0 at the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the US of A. Both Hammers started the contest across the Atlantic, and the match was finally poised at the break, with neither side being able to force a breakthrough. Mexico seized control in the second half, first establishing a 57th minute lead and a second goal 15 minutes later. So there we go. What about that, Mike? Bragging rights to Edson Alvarez, but there was a nice picture of those two having a little chat at the end.
I did see him having a little chat at the end, which is good. Yeah. I mean, Mexico, they did used to have a half a decent team, years and years ago. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're starting to improve again. Ghana also, they weren't too bad a few years ago. So, I mean, I think to be totally honest, I don't want too many of our players traveling all over the world. Like Antonio, is he not going to Jamaica?
He's gone to Jamaica as well.
He's gone to Jamaica. I mean, there's like I say, Gerd, I'm not that upset if, like, with I don't know what's happened with Paqueta, if he's not playing for Brazil still. I'm not that upset that they're not in the team, and they're staying fit for West Ham. But that's me, because I put West Ham first before the country every time.
Yeah, so. I've said that. I said that when James Ward-Prowse wasn't included in the England squad. We're going to come on to Bowen in just a second, but I wasn't too. I mean, of course, I was a little bit like, for him personally, I was a little bit annoyed because he should be in the squad. But then when I put my West Ham hat on, I was like, if he goes and gets injured, that's going to really, really annoy me. And if Bowen gets injured against Italy tomorrow night, that is going to really irritate me as well. But hopefully, with my West Ham hat on, Bowen won't play tomorrow because he played on Friday or whenever it was. So
he won't play. He might be on the bench. That'll be it. And then he'll come home fine and he'll be okay. I go back to the Dean Ashton days when, we had one of the best strikers around, and he went off and played for England, got injured, and he was never the same. So, those sort of things stick in my mind, and I'm thinking, okay, it's a great accolade for the player. Now, that's their pinnacle, isn't it? They want to play for their country, but it doesn't upset me too much when they don't get picked.
Yeah, exactly. A couple more mentions, a couple more games that did happen. Callum Marshall played another game. I've already read that one out. Let's go on to the one I want to go. Soucek scored the winner, as we previously mentioned, in the Czech Republic's 1-0 victory over the Faroe Islands on Sunday. That was his 10th goal for his country, and it came from the penalty spot. Czech Republic currently sits second in Group E with 3 wins so far in their their qualifying campaign. We've talked about Alvarez and Kudus. That's all good. Mikel Antonio featured for Jamaica in a 3-2 win over Haiti in the CONCACAF. I don't know what it is. National League over in Jamaica. Former Everton and Leicester City striker Damari Gray and Aston Villa's Leon Bailey were on the score sheet for Jamaica, who edged through a 5-goal thriller. So it seems like all of our, or most of our internationals have had quite a decent run out. Let's talk about Jarrod Bowen. We're not going to talk about it for too long because the game sent me to sleep. So talking about the game will send you to sleep. So look, we're not going to talk about England and Southgate and all that because I can't be bothered. But just Bowen, he didn't do a lot. He didn't get a lot of action. He didn't get past the ball very much. And pretty much like the rest of the players, I thought he was pretty average. Michael, by being harsh.
Yeah, he was average, and so was everyone else. I mean, no one had a brilliant game, did they? But I almost feel for players that come in, do you know what I mean? And they say, right, you got your chance, there you go. And you're basically in an England second team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think, players like Bowen probably deserve, okay, not the start, but come on for 20 minutes in a proper England first team, then see what he can do then. I think it's a bit harsh on those players to be all chucked in there together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
it sort of reminded me of West Ham at the start of last season, where we've got all these new players. We just go chuck them in and hope it all works, because it was quite clear. I mean, these players are coming from all over the gaff, right? That midfield was absolutely shocking. Jordan Henderson, who's playing League 2 level football in Saudi Arabia. You have Conor Gallagher, who's I don't think's impressed in Chelsea shirt so far this season. Who else was it? There was somebody else in that midfield. James Maddison, who I didn't think was great. To be honest with you, he's had a brilliant start to the seasons, but I didn't think he had a very good impact.
The best midfielder probably was, and I hate to say it, Trent Alexander.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Honestly, I thought when he came on, when he moved into midfield,
yeah.
A better side altogether.
Yeah.
Bowen didn't do much, nor did Grealish.
Yeah, I thought both wingers were massively isolated.
Yeah, I mean, Watkins scored a goal, but he missed a sitter.
Yeah.
I mean, none of them were really, none of them shone. I think Maddison's a decent player. Don't get me wrong, and he does stand a chance of starting in that midfield.
Yeah.
But he also needs better players in there with him to show what he can do.
Yeah, I think I think Sean puts it right. It was a massive waste of time. I mean, I just feel sorry for people that paid money to go and watch that, to be honest with you. Because I mean, if Australia could put if they had a bit of final third sort of decency, then they could have easily scored a couple in that game. There's a couple of chances they had. I thought, flipping out, that should have gone in. And it was just a bunch of players. And, that was nowhere near our first team. That was a complete second string midfield. And wingers would have been changed. But I was quite worried about just how bad it was. I mean, yes, all these players weren't going to click together and it was magically going to work, but they're still all professional footballers, and it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And to be fair, in these games, you usually get a sense of inevitability of we are going to score at some point, and I did get that, but I sort of thought at half time, I can see us not scoring here, and it'll be 0-0.
Yeah,
but we managed to get the game, and I mean, it means really, absolutely nothing.
I mean, the game is nothing, is it? Really, what does that game absolutely diddly squat? I mean, England aren't going to pick their best players because they're saving them for the game against Italy. So, what was the point of that game? Really, I don't get it. Really, to be totally honest.
Yeah. For sure. So I think they played Italy tomorrow night in a game that actually means something for the Euro qualifying. So I'm sure there'll be Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, all those sort of players will come back in. I think Terry mentioned it. Southgate will go back to his default. Harry Maguire will be centre half, and all the usual suspects will be involved. And who knows what'll happen? I don't know what sort of state Italy are in after, because they didn't make it to the World Cup, did they? Did Italy get to the World Cup?
No, they blew up, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, I don't know. But Mike, overall, it wasn't very good, and hopefully they can have a decent sort of performance tomorrow.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I'll be I'm wanting them to win. 100%. I hope that. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that he doesn't play Henderson. I really don't. I mean, it's like Southgate just put him in because of what the booing. Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, well, come on, just play your best team. Play your best team, man. But we will see.
Oh, well, it is what it is. I'm delighted to say we've got another guest on. Mike, if you need to go, just shout or just go.
No. Wait, and then I've got to shoot.
Sorry.
Couple of minutes and I'll go.
Cool. Cool. John, how are you?
I'm all good. Good to see you. Hello, Mike. Hello, Jake. All good?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks very much.
It seemed not long ago since we were at the game, and not much has happened since.
Yeah, for sure. We were just talking about England and how boring it was the other night, but an inclusion for Jarrod Bowen, which was pretty average, I thought.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it. I was driving back from London that evening. It was really, really late, so no, just caught up with the result afterwards. Did he play the full game?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, but a bit ineffective. He just didn't get the ball from what I saw.
Just quite isolated. Grealish was the same. They were both quite isolated on the flank, and yeah, he didn't really get the ball, and he didn't really do anything with it when he got it, unfortunately.
Is he fit for tomorrow or whenever we play Italy?
Hopefully, yeah, I should think so. Mike, I mean, as we said, I hope he doesn't play and he gets back to West Ham quite quickly unscathed.
Definitely, I hope he, if he gets 5 minutes at the end, okay, but I just hope he gets through it. And that's the main thing with all these internationals this week. I just hope all our players to get through it unscathed.
For sure.
Yeah, we've done some distances, haven't they? Caribbean and Central America and so on.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's also players like Paqueta that have stayed at home, which is good as well, obviously, because he was kicked out of the Brazil squad because of the betting claims that were put on his name. So he's stayed at home, which I think is good. Give the lad a bit of a rest. Seen on social media, he's had a bit of family time and a bit of training with the players that have remained there. So that's good for Paqueta. And look, I'd prefer none of them to go out and they're all to stay and not pick up any injuries and be fully fit. Have a brilliant squad ready for Aston Villa, but hopefully that'll be the case. But there'll be one or two that inevitably pick up a little knock or a little sort of niggle that will put them out. But Mike, thank you very much indeed for joining me, mate.
Yeah, I'll see you,
Mike.
See you soon. Thank you very much, Mike. Cheers, mate. Overall, looking ahead to Sunday, it is. We're on 4:30 Super Sunday Peter Drury on Sunday, John. We are the headline act of the weekend. And it's usually a very good hunting ground for us.
Are we going to see you?
I am halfway between Cherbourg and somewhere else.
Oh, already? You're on the way? You'll be on the way. All right, okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, the things we've got to do.
A lucky pre-match prediction before the game, don't you? Outside the ground. We've done that a couple of years.
We have, yeah. I do like Villa away, which is a bit of a shame, but I'll just sort of console my frustrations with that just by sitting on the ship in the sun, watching the game in the bar, on my own, because I think that, listen to this, Dad's going to the Indian restaurant that night on Sunday, I think, and then Mum's obviously going to go to the restaurant, so I'm going to sit in an English pub on my own watching the football. Hopefully they've got it on. I'm going to look a right lad, but no. Yeah, I think we've never lost at Villa Park in the last few years. Since they've come back up, we haven't lost there. That's for sure. I mean, I remember that 4-1 a couple of years ago, John.
That was a classic. Yeah,
that was a brilliant day. And then last year, it was a crucial day to beat them. We were on 0 points going up to Villa Park, 3 games into the season. Fornal's fluky goal. So usually, as I said, we do well up there, and hopefully, the 3,000 up there can get behind them. And I just hope you haven't got the restricted view seat that I had last year, John, because that was woeful.
I think I'm down in the lower tier for Sunday,
good.
So I've not been down that way before.
Oh, right, yeah. We've had one lower tier, one upper tier. Last year we were right up in the corner, and we had this big blank thing, so we couldn't really see. So.
Yeah, and of course it wouldn't have bothered you last season, but there were no beers sold in the upper tier.
No, there wasn't. No. Oh yes, I remember that, because you listen to this. This is a story. This, right? So we got up there. We knew there was going to be no beers. So we got into the ground. We wanted to go and get some food. The geezer forgot to turn the the hot cooker thing on, so there was no pies. All they had was cold sausage rolls. So bearing in mind, there's 1,500 West Ham fans wanted to come up, and most of them wanted to, get a pie, as you do. So there was no pies for 45 minutes. They had no beers. People wanted to go back downstairs to get beers, which you can do at Everton away. I remember from last year, you can go up and down, but not at Villa. So it was an absolute nightmare, John.
Well, yeah, it's how it is for some of these away games, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I know I sort of get it. There, that concourse in the upper tier is not very big, but why they don't sell beer? I mean, they make a fortune.
Yeah, well, that's down to them, but they're a little bit stingy. It's like with their senior ticket pricing as well. Villa and West Ham are the only two clubs that insist on a 66 and over concession, or that offer a 66 and over. Everyone else is 65.
Right.
And looking at some of the other away games,
that doesn't affect you, John. You're well below that, aren't you?
Well, yeah, it's just general knowledge for me. That's all. It's just these things that you pick up when I feed you, off screen and so on with these bits. But I know that Villa knock a massive 50p off the £30 away.
£29.50
for their seniors. Others are giving anything £6, £7, £8 up, but Villa it's 50p, and you've got to be 66 to qualify.
That's good. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Just before we mention the food bank, let's get some thoughts on Villa. Conference League this year, they're going to be playing a lot of football, and I think that's probably going to bring some inconsistency to their domestic league form, I think.
I agree. I mean, this is 3 years running now for us, so our team is set in their ways for Europa League Thursday nights. But I can see the newer teams, Brighton and Villa, certainly struggling to adapt. And then, as we've seen, you're always playing on a Sunday or even Monday, so you're playing catch up after the other games have taken place. So you're chasing for those 3 points that those around you have already got the day before or 2 days before. How much of a psychological thing that is, I don't know. But the good thing is we are used to this now, and we have a routine and system.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we're a bit more streetwise with it, and I think we've already shown that so far. And I think there's been a bit of a shock to Villa and Brighton actually, because it's been, we've had the Conference League is easy, this and that and the other, and so far Villa have lost one, and they've scraped a 1-0 win in the 95th minute at home in their second game, and Brighton have lost one game so far in Europe already, so it's not as easy as we're making out, really, is it?
Well, no, we've made it seem very, very easy, haven't we, with the record that we have at the moment?
Yeah.
Just out of interest, your cruise, is that going via Athens next week?
It's not, unfortunately. I did sort of have a look, and because Wednesday we're around Vigo or Lisbon or something around there.
Okay.
Yeah. That would have been class. Could you imagine that? Just pull it in on Wednesday morning into Athens. Yeah, the ship usually leaves these places about 5 or 6 o'clock, so we'd have to be back. But yeah, that would have been a match made in heaven, John. But unfortunately not. I might have a word with the captain and see what he can do. It's quite a long way out of the way, but I'll see what he can do. We'll miss it Sunday. One of my favourite away days. It is actually my favourite away day, Villa away. I like it. I like the ground, the front with all the steps, and I think it's a really nice old ground. And I mean, we're losing Goodison Park this year. Not that bothers me at all, because I don't like that place. But Villa Park, a good, nice, old, proper ground. And I think just to mention that, it's going to be it's going to be interesting, because of course Everton, we might not see them next year because they might be in the Championship, but the last season going to Goodison Park, the last season having to go and look at those and the wooden flooring they've got, and the seats that aren't proper seats, that what's going on here? Benches, that's it. It's got character, which I sort of commend.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, let's see what the new stadium's gonna bring.
Yeah. For sure. Sean says, Goodison is quality. Well, you didn't travel 4.5 hours up there last year to see a dreadful 1-0 loss. Goodison Park last year. I mean, John, it's not very far for you, so you would have been.
I know it's my nearest game there in Anfield, and I couldn't make it for whatever reason last season. No. I think it was.
You didn't miss anything. You did not miss anything.
Dreadful. We were expected to win that one, and we just didn't turn up.
No, we didn't. That was that was well one of the lows of last season. I mean, we all talked last season about the lows of Wolves away and Brighton away, but that one was up there.
Yeah.
that one was up there. Oh, we had a block view. We were in the corner, and there was a big pole right in the way. I'm like, come on, sort this out. What's going on?
I've seen that before. Yeah.
What's going on? But anyway, just before we go, an update on the food bank, John. How's things going?
As usual, loads. I'm going to Manchester tomorrow to Umbro. They've got a carload of samples for me to take away, so we'll distribute those next time I'm in London. And the support for Morocco is ongoing now. I was at Rush Green on Friday. There was no one there, no one training. I think they were given a long weekend off.
Right.
I was able to park in David Moyes' parking space. But I went there to pick up a whole load of training kit that the club has donated towards the Morocco appeal. So by coincidence, my contact out there is coming up to Cheshire tomorrow, and I'll be seeing her, and she's going to be taking this kit back with her on the plane when she goes back on Friday. So the timing is just right, but it's all the Betway logos, training stuff that they're taking out, plus a whole load of new tracksuits that the club has donated. There must be, several hundreds of pounds worth of clothes, if not 1,000 plus, which the girl will be taking back to Morocco, because these kids in the Atlas Mountains have lost everything. She was teaching out there. She's lost pupils and friends in the earthquake, and she's been out there ever since. So she got a bit of a break this week. And I speak with her nearly every day. She sent me pictures of the disaster area and so on. And you see these little kids trying to smile, but they've lost everything. So fair dues to the club with the money that Naif Aguerd donated, £10,000, plus the 2.5 we got from the fans. It's all gone towards the fund. So a little bit extra to go out there this week. And again, hats off to West Ham for doing that. No,
that's absolutely brilliant. To help out in any way, and of course, with the link that the club's got to Morocco with Naif Aguerd, with his help and the club's help, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Top work, John. Keep it up.
It's up to you guys. Always. You guys support us. Top works to you as well.
That's excellent. Just before we go, a couple of comments. Robert says Emerson, Paqueta and Alvarez nearing a one-match ban. / yellow cards. Yeah, it seems like Alvarez picks up a yellow card needlessly every game. So all of those will be having a one-match ban soon. Is it 5 yellow cards? Is it 5 or 6? I think it's something like that.
I don't know. You're the stato. I don't know. I rely on you.
I think it's 5.
Okay.
I think it's 5 yellow cards for a one-match ban before December, I think, or something. So they'll inevitably pick up those at some point. Goodison chips and curry sauce made the day. I tell you what, the food probably was the best thing about that away day. 1-0 Everton was the scoreline. I had chips, and there was like some really nice melted like cheese, and then some bacon little bits on top as well.
Yeah,
it's very good. It was very good. That was the highlight. There's no doubt about it. Top work as always. Everyone's saying well done to you, John. That is very good. Good effort to West Ham as well. That's really good. We will leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. Just to reiterate everything we've gone through in the show. Thomas Soucek, has he signed his contract? Has he not? The International Hammers and all of the stuff that they have done during the international break. And of course, today we have got our monetization back on YouTube as well. So the membership page is back up and running. Soucek, Sharky, sorry, has asked for a new emoji. We've now got 3 members, which means I can add another emoji. So I will add a dancing David Moyes emoji to the list, ready for the next show, Sharky, at your request. I will do that. And so thank you very much for joining us, John. Pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Always. Thanks, Jake. Have a good holiday. Say hi to mum and dad.
I certainly will. Saturday, we'll jet off down to Southampton, and you won't see me for a week. No one will miss me. We'll beat Villa. We'll beat Olympiacos. Are you going out to Greece, John?
I am, yes. Just got my ticket last night. That's all booked out there for the week.
That's good. Brilliant. Well, I've seen the weather forecast and it's looking promising, John, so you might come back with a tan. Oh,
well, great. Happy days. Win-win.
Exactly. Right. Everyone's having a little bit of fun with the emojis in there, which is good. John, look at these emojis I've made. They're I'm quite proud.
Good.
He sold his car. He sold his car. And whenever James Ward-Prowse puts another ball into the box, another assist. He's done it again. He's done it again. Right, we're rambling now. Thank you very much from us. Come on, you Irons.
Go on, you
And
Irons.
we will see you soon right
All
here
the best,
on
everyone.
West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.